Hey guys, Jen Bloom here, your Jentastic Pampered Chef Consultant. I just got off work, I'm hurrying, I need to make dinner for my family. I'm gonna do rush hour chicken fajitas in the microwave in my deep covered baker, which I love so much. So first step, I need to prepare my veggies, which I love to use my simple slicer for that. It just makes short work out of a tedious job. My knife skills, as you all know, are not the best. So this thing just makes it foolproof. So here we go. The cool thing about the simple slicer, you can use it in this position and just go this way, or it actually has these little grooves right here. You can see those, that'll slip onto your bowl or whatever you're working with. And they go, horizontal this way here. I'm actually just gonna do it this way because I think it films better and hold it up. Or you could just kind of rest it here. This is going to come in two parts. So you have the normal slicer part, and then it has this little sleigh. I call it a sleigh, I don't know what it's really called, that slides into place for safety. So that way you're not getting your fingers anywhere near the blade, which is great, especially if you have kids in the kitchen helping you. And then it has the food holder, which has the prongs that clamp under your food, and then you press the plunger down as you slide it down. So super safe, very, very easy, dishwasher safe, very easy to clean, pretty cool. It has a locked position, so you don't have to worry if you're storing it in your shelf or in your drawer. You're not gonna worry about cutting yourself on, because the blade's very sharp. And then it has a first position right here, 1, 2, and 3. First position is going to be the thinnest slices, down to second, and third is going to be the thickest. Today we're doing fajitas, so I'm going to use the thickest setting. So you're just going to cut off, you can slice off the tops or however you do it, but I just dug out a really easy way to clean it is just push in the center core, and then it all comes right back out. So that's what I did. And then you're just going to make sure that your make sure that your prongs are in your food like this. And then you just get to slicing. Super easy. My husband says I'm not allowed to say easy peasy anymore, so I have to think of a new term, I guess. Just that simple. And the beauty, no waste. So you saw how fast that was? That's the little end right there. So it makes these beautiful rings. If you really like, to do slices, you can certainly just stack up all your rings and then just make them into slices. I'm gonna use the salad choppers at the very end, so I'm not even worried about it. So here we go. Get the rest of these done very quickly. I like to cook, but after work, I work full time. It's just kind of a lot, and I had to go grocery shopping because of course I wait till we have no food in the house. So I just don't really enjoy it on weeknights. So super easy recipes like this. Whoops, wasn't quite done. Kind of just makes it really easy to feed your family quality, healthy meals, but without slaving away. And be very careful when your food holder's off, because it is very sharp. When I first bought this, I put the food holder down and I completely forgot about it, and I just started going to town, and I cut myself, and all of a sudden I looked down and I had blood all over my onion. So you will cut yourself, but with the food holder on, there's absolutely no way that you can hurt yourself. Okay, so that is done. Everything's out of there, on there. There we go. Okay. All right, so you have perfect little rings, which then turn into slices. All right, so I'm just gonna get that in there, get the food prongs back on, and go to town. Alrighty. The easiest recipe you're ever going to have. Next, I'm gonna get my chicken ready. Stay tuned. Okay, so now I have my chicken in my stainless steel mixing bowl. I love these. My husband really loves them. This is the smallest, it's a set of 3, and this is the 8 cup. It has cup measurements on the inside, probably can't see that. And then on the other side, it's got liter measurements. These come with a lid, which I've buried, which is great because you can do your prep work for your recipes, and then you can also put the lid on, pop it in your fridge, so you don't have to dirty up another bowl, which I love, 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 love. So all I've done is put the chicken breast. I just cut off some of the fat on the outside. They're skinless, boneless. And then I put 2 tablespoons of our Southwest seasoning rub. I love this. Seasoning mix, not rub. We use it on pretty much everything. We love Mexican food, and we get a lot of use out of that. Next, it calls for 2 garlic cloves. We really like garlic, so I'm gonna use 4. And normally I would use whole garlic and use the peeler that comes with the slicer peeler set. But I forgot to buy a head of garlic, so I'm using my trusty jar kind, which comes in handy. This is going to be your favorite tool ever. It's the peeler. This is the slicer, and it comes with a peeler, which is so easy to use. Let me get it out for you. So you're just gonna put your garlic cloves in here, take your head apart, throw the clove in, and you're gonna just use a little tension on a cutting board or a flat surface, and it's gonna take the peel right off. You're gonna pop it out. It's gonna look like the garlic I just put in here. You're gonna put it in the slicer, put the top right on there, and watch this. It's amazing. For people that like to make homemade pizzas on their stoneware, turns out so fabulous. You can use sliced garlic. This is the perfect thickness for something like that for a pizza. This recipe actually calls for, and then it's just right out of there. Easy, so easy. We also have our awesome garlic press. So if you prefer like minced garlic, this is gonna be really garlicky now if I put this in. The beauty of the garlic press is you can actually not even have to mess around with the peeler. You just throw the whole garlic clove in there, and it's gonna remove the skin for you. So you're just gonna pop it in and then give it a quick press. It comes with this cool little attachment, which I think doubles as a cool Barbie brush or doll brush for your daughter. And then you're just gonna scrape off all that. The important thing of this is your fingers are not gonna smell like garlic. You don't even have to touch it. So when you pull, if you had the skin in there, you could just remove it right with this. You wouldn't even have to touch it, just dig that out of there. So a couple different ways you can accomplish that. And then we're just gonna put the chicken, I'm using my fingers, which normally of course I would do. I'm gonna mix the garlic around. Put the chicken right on top of the veggies. Don't even have to mix it all together or anything like that. This actually, the recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of chicken, but I know my family, that's not gonna cut it. So I just put 4 breasts in there. And then you can scrape out some more of the sauce. I'm gonna add just a little bit more Southwest seasoning. We like it pretty spicy. You could add jalapenos, green chilies, you know, whatever you want to add to this. It's a pretty basic recipe, but it's so fast, it's so easy. And once you cook something in this deep covered baker, I swear you are gonna wonder how you live without it. So it comes with a cover. This is the juiciest chicken you'll ever have. We're gonna pop it in the microwave for, it calls for 12 to 15 minutes. Because I'm using more chicken, I'm gonna go for 15 minutes because ain't nobody got time for salmonella. And one more thing I wanted to talk about the simple slicer. It's good for potato slices. So if you wanna make homemade potato chips, you could put that on the thinnest slice, the thinnest setting, number 1, and it gives you perfect one. If you wanna make them a little thicker, maybe like a potato au gratin, you can do it on the thickest. You can do cucumber slices, tomatoes, beets, rutabagas, tomatoes. With the tomato, you just want to kind of shimmy it to get through the skin because you don't want it to turn to mush. So it's just a little bit of a shimmy technique. Brussels sprouts, really anything. It does work best with a firmer, you know, fresh vegetable, if they get kind of soggy or they've been in your fridge too long, it's not going to work quite as good. So you just want to make sure that it's a nice crisp vegetable or fruit. Okay, stay tuned. 15 minutes in the microwave. And check that. Oh my goodness, that smells so good. So next, you have a couple different options. You can take your chicken off and then slice it how you like it for fajitas. You can hunk it up, you know, whatever your family likes. I love the salad choppers, so any excuse to use these. And that's why I wasn't super worried about the size of the vegetables, because I knew I was going to follow up with this. So whatever you like to do, but I want to show you how easy this is. They're called salad choppers. However, don't let that fool you, because they're excellent for meat, and that's what I use them probably 89% of the time for. So you just want to get the scoop end underneath what you're cutting from this direction. You're not going to hold them like regular scissors, you're going to hold them just like this. And we're just going to pick up one of our chicken breasts. You can also kind of slice it with these too. So you're just going to pick up an end and then you can just kind of slice it off that way, or you can shred it, or you can hunk it. So I'm going to show you, this is just kind of the slicing method. Can you see that? It's perfectly cooked. So that was 15 minutes. There's no pink in it. There's no chance that my family's going to get sick. And it is juicy. Can you see all the juice in there? Right there. We didn't put any water or broth. That was all just the natural juice of the chicken, as well as the vegetables combining. So how awesome is that? Now, if you didn't want to cut up your veggies, you could just do the chicken on your cutting mat. I love these flexible cutting mats I have under the baker. Or you can just, you know, kind of do it without getting the vegetables underneath too. Alrighty. Okay, so just make short order of, I'm gonna do it too. My grip is horrible. I have tendonitis in my right elbow, so I like to use 2 hands just to make it a little bit easier, because I'm super impatient. Heaven forbid I take my time with a task. But check that out. And you can tell that they're all perfectly cooked. If it wasn't, there'd be no problem. It would just put the lid back on and get that back in the microwave for another, you know, minute or 2. The beauty of our stoneware is you really can't overcook anything. I don't know what it is. It's like a miracle product. It retains the heat so nicely. You know, if you have stoneware, our round stones, our cookie sheets, you can't burn a set of cookies when you use those. It just gives it the perfect nice golden crust on your pizzas, whatever you're making. Okay. We have a ton of wild turkeys in our yard, and they're freaking out because of the weather. It's hilarious. They're running all over. Okay. So that's that. So I'm just going to use this, mix that all up. Look how good that is. The beauty of the stoneware is it's not going to retain any flavor, oil. You know, it's going to get, we like to say with stoneware, the darker it looks, the better it cooks. So don't worry about any discoloration, because you actually want it to look like that. The blacker the better. But it's not going to, you know, with all the garlic in there and onion, you could go and bake something and it's not going to have any of those flavors. You don't use soap, you're just going to rinse it right out. It's the easiest cleanup. They come with these cool pan scrapers, so if you had anything kind of stuck to the side from cooking, you can just scrape it off with this cool little pan scraper, and then that's all you do. Rinse it off, make sure to dry it. Stoneware is just, it has a couple little rules, so to use it properly is very important. You don't want to put anything frozen in there. You don't want to have any thermal shock, you know, putting it directly from the microwave hot into ice water, you know, putting it into the water, because you don't want to crack it or break it. Making sure that for our like cookie sheets and stones, making sure that at least 2/3 of the surface is covered with food, which is going to prevent it from, you know, having any kind of issues where it's going to break. Okay, so from my kitchen to yours, have a gentastic night.